you know why I pulled you over?
Do you know how to answer that question? What about?
You don't mind if I search the car, do you?
Today we're going to cover all that and more. Protect yourself by knowing the bad answers to police questions and what to say instead. I'm attorney Andrew Flushy, and this channel is all about defending your rights. Subscribe for a new video every other Tuesday. How do you answer police questions? You don't. End of video. Just kidding. Today we're going to talk about why you don't answer police questions and why the standard answers are really bad for you.
I'm Officer Andy. Is there any reason for your speed? I was just going with the flow.
This is not a defense to speeding. And by answering with something like this, you're sort of agreeing that you were going fast. The best answer to this question is no. The one exception is if you were truly in the middle of some kind of emergency. If your pregnant wife is in the back seat and about to give birth to your new baby, you should tell the officer that. If your arm is cut and you're gushing with blood, tell the officer. If you think you're having a heart attack, tell the officer. If there's some kind of actual emergency like that, especially a medical emergency, you should let the officer know. They will probably offer to call an ambulance for you. But short of needing an ambulance, the answer to this question is no.
I'm going to need to see your license and registration, please. Here's my military ID.
I practice law smack dab in between Richmond and Washington, D.C. We have every kind of military service member you can imagine around here. I even saw a Space Force guardian in court the other day. While many officers respect our military and even serve themselves, they don't want you flashing your military ID trying to get a break on the side of the road. Be sure to let your attorney know about your military service, and the judge might be willing to give you some consideration for that. The corollary to this issue is when people try to name drop their friend or family member who's an officer. Or even worse in this area, a lot of people try to pull out those New York State PBA cards, and the Virginia State Troopers hate those.
Do you know why I pulled you over? I know, I screwed up.
By starting with open-ended questions like this, the officers are frankly trying to get you to talk. They're trying to get you to open up and admit to things that frankly they may not even know about. Law enforcement officers a lot of times specifically do not tell you what they're investigating because they want you to admit to things that they may not know. This is an investigation technique that they use routinely. Open-ended questions are a trap for you, quite literally. By agreeing that you did anything wrong, you've essentially just confessed to whatever the officer has in his head that he thinks you did wrong. The better answer to this question is simply no.
Where are you coming from today? Buffalo Wild Wings. I was just watching the game.
Well, now you've just admitted that you're coming from a sports bar. How's that going to help you in this situation? The better answer here is to simply tell the officer that your lawyer friend advised you to remain silent. Because if you tell the officer that you're coming from a bar or a sports bar, you're leading yourself right into the next question.
How much have you had to drink today? I only had 2 beers.
That's literally what almost every DUI client says. It's a running joke among police officers that every DUI arrest only had 2 beers. I guess people think that it's not plausible that they didn't have any alcohol or just had 1 drink, and they don't want to really say how much they actually had because people are smart enough to not directly confess to an offense. But by admitting that you've had any alcohol, you've just given the officer one more piece of evidence to justify a possible arrest and eventual prosecution for DWI. The correct answer to this question is simply Fifth Amendment. Or if you've already told the officer that you intend to remain silent, just keep your mouth shut. The officer might ask you several questions in a row. You don't have to respond, especially once you've said, I intend to remain silent, or said Fifth Amendment, or anything like that. Keep your mouth shut. It's really as simple as that for future questions.
You don't have any guns or bombs in here, do you? You don't mind if I search just to make sure, right? Sure, you can search, officer.
False. Never give permission to search your vehicle, your home, or your person. While the officer knows you're most likely not transporting a bomb, they're really fishing for permission to search for other contraband. In some states where marijuana is still illegal, for example, they're looking to search for marijuana or some other drugs you may have in your car. Or who knows what you have in there that you don't even remember is there or that some friend accidentally left there. There is simply zero benefit to you by agreeing to a search. If the officer has reason to believe there's some contraband in the car, he's going to be able to search your car anyway. Even if you know that your car is 100% clean and contains nothing at all that could incriminate you or someone else, you should still flex your Fourth Amendment right. Exercise that right simply by saying, no sir, you may not search. For more on why you should not talk to the police, check out my next video on lies they use to manipulate you. I'll see you over there.